Hi. So in this second video, I wanted to quickly go through my repos because some of you asked me how to do CI/CD stuff, and I actually do have some repositories to do CI/CD with Mule applications, so like to Cloud Hub, and with DataWeave libraries, so like to take your libraries documentation and put it in Exchange, and also like the code. So if you go into my GitHub repo, which is Alexander Martinez, and then you go to the repos, you will see these two. So DataWeave Utilities Library and GitHub Actions. Or also in the overview, if you scroll down here in the section of MuleSoft repos, you will find the CI/CD pipelines repos. So there is a GitHub Actions, which is, again, setting up CI/CD pipelines with GitHub Actions, and a simple Mule app. And the other one is the DataWeave Utilities Library, which is currently still in progress. But I finished it. Well, I finished the CI/CD pipeline, but I'm still working on like the code. I want to improve it a little bit, but it's done. You can use that. So let's see the GitHub Actions one. And if you go into .github/workflows, you will be able to see the build.yaml file, which is where the CI/CD stuff is set up. How this goes, it's basically split into different jobs. One is build, and the other one is deploy. So in build, the first thing you do is to check out the repo, cache the dependencies, wherever you're like running this, the Maven dependencies. Then set up the JDK 1.8, because I believe only 8 and 11 are supported by MuleSoft. And this was taken from other repo, but I'm not using this right now, so I just commented out. Then you can build with Maven, so you get the package, the jar package, and then you change the jar name so it includes the hash of the commit that you used to like deploy this thing, so you know what is the last commit that is deployed currently in Cloud Hub. And finally, you upload this jar file so you can use it in the next job. Now in this job, it starts to deploy. It also checks out the repo, then caches the dependencies, just as we did with Maven. And now downloads the artifact that we just uploaded, so like the jar artifact, and finally deploys to Sandbox using my credentials, Anypoint Platform username and Anypoint Platform password, and runs this thing in Maven. And then how did I set up these two credentials? So if you go into, I'm not signing. Well, there's gonna be like a settings tab here, and inside those settings you go into secrets and then actions, and you will be able to set up there your username and password. Just make sure that the name of the secrets match these two things right here. That's it. And then the DataWeave Utilities Library, let me check it out as well. GitHub workflows build.yaml. So this is a bit different. Here we only have one job, which is just a build. You check out this repo, you cache the dependencies, again, the Maven dependencies, you set up JDK, and then you add the repo credentials. This is basically like what you have in your .m2 folder in your local machine. This would be the the settings.xml that you have in your local machine. So in this case, I added just one server that says ID exchange, and then username, the same Anypoint Platform username, and password, the same Anypoint Platform password. And now here I'm just doing deploy to exchange. So I just do Maven deploy, and this automatically knows what I'm talking about. As you can see, this is different from the other one, which is doing Maven deploy, and then Mule deploy, and then artifact name, and then username, and then password, which these two are taking from here. But in this case, I'm just setting up basically the settings.xml that you would do in your local, and then I just do Maven deploy, and that's it. And this will take your DataWeave library and put it in Exchange, which is, again, different from this. This is a simple Mule application. So if I check source main Mule, I will have this just GitHub Actions XML. And this is just a simple flow with an HTTP listener, a logger, and a set payload. And that's it, just because I just wanted to demonstrate. But in the DataWeave utilities library, you will have source, main DW, and test DW, just as we do in our stuff here in VS Code. So this is basically, well, this is not the library that I'm putting. This is just an example. But this is a library. So if you go here into utilities DW, utilities would be my module, and then everything here is my code. And I also have a ton of documentation for each function, because these will be visible from Exchange. So there you go. That's what you can use. So again, just go to Alexander Martinez. You can directly go to repositories and search for DataWeave Utilities Library or GitHub Actions, or you can go into my overview, scroll down until you see MuleSoft repos, and then check out the CI/CD pipelines sections to see the GitHub Actions and the DataWeave Utilities library. And that's it. You can just follow that and do your stuff, set it up however you prefer. And also something good to mention before you all go is that I set up the trigger to be on every push and every pull request that is done to the main branch. But of course, you can modify this however you prefer. Maybe your branch is master instead of main, so you can just change that to be master instead of main. So there you go. That's all for this video. Let me know what else do you want me to talk about. But remember that it does have to be in like less than 10 minutes. So maybe I won't be able to do a lot of complicated stuff, but I will be able to do basic stuff. All right. See you on the next video. Bye.